And I'm loving life with friends. Doing my life with friends. Doing my life with friends. Doing my life with friends. I'm loving life with friends. Doing my life with friends. Doing my life with friends. Doing my life with friends. And I'm loving life with friends. Doing my life with friends. Doing my life with friends. Doing my life with friends. I'm life with friends.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Love and Life.
I don't know. I have to stop every time.
Oh wow. Okay, stop it. Okay, I still have my sister here with me, Val. And yeah, we're just carrying on the conversation about friendships and why they're important. So we were talking about just qualities of a good friend. So when you think about what it means to be a good friend, so I guess even beyond maybe looking at what we expect from other people as far as friendship is concerned, how do we actually become the kind of friend that we hope to, is it attracts the word, that we hope to have as well? And I think it's in Proverbs where it says that the one who must have friends must first show himself friendly. So like if you are to have friends, then you have to be that friend as well. So it's very easy to like put demands on everyone else, but actually when we introspect, what are the qualities that make us a good friend?
Cool. Okay, so I'll start off by being really practical about it, just because that's how my brain works firstly, and then the emotion comes in around it.
It's the engineering you.
Yeah, the engineering me is always like,
Gosh,
what's the practical solution? But in light of that, I'd say one of the easiest and most practical things you can do first and foremost in being a good friend is pray. So ask God, how do I be a friend? Because God knows everything. So if you ask him and you seek him, he'll respond to you, or he'll give you an answer in some shape or form. Secondly, listen. And listen is multidimensional. And I'll say that in that if you've asked God, how do I be a good friend? Then take time to give room to hear what he has to say back to you, or read your word and see what he will speak to you through that in itself. And then beyond that, with other people, listen to them. Listen to what they're going through. Listen to what their life experiences are. And then in that, tug on your natural ability to be empathetic, which I think we all have in some capacity, and use that as an engine to then be a source of support to that person. And I think I think if you were to encapsulate doing those few actions in some sort of way, just to start off with, you'd be amazed about the amount of people you'd be able to connect with and align with. One is be yourself. Like, so, there's no point acting like you're interested in one thing and you're not. There's no point acting as if, you're the most loud and extroverted person when you're really not.
Don't fake it.
Yeah. And in a similar way, don't act like you're the shyest and most introvert person if you're not either. Just be yourself. Because there's no point being someone else and attracting who that other person is that you're trying to be, the people who are attracted to that person, and that's not really you, because there's only so long you can sustain that.
It's exhausting. Like, you gotta keep it up.
Yeah, and you want your friendships to be sustainable, right? So it needs to be authentic. So that's what it said, be you, be authentic, be genuine. I love in Romans 12, it says, we should love each other with brotherly affection, genuinely love other people.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to love them, again, ask God. Pray. Ask God, how do I love people?
Right.
And then just back to that second commandment, which is my favorite, love your neighbor as you love yourself. How do you want to be treated? Do you want people to not listen to you when you're talking? Do you want people to always overtalk when you're speaking? Do you want people to not take you seriously? Do you want people to be nonchalant and dismiss when you have an opinion? Do you like it when people don't involve you if they're holding an event or a function? Like, practically, if you were to sit with yourself and think, what are all the things I don't like people doing to me?
Yeah.
Then use that list as an action list of, when it comes to other people, I will be intentional to make sure I do not act this way to other people, because I know I wouldn't like it.
Right.
I know I wouldn't receive it well. I know it would make me feel less than. And I know I don't want to be treated as less than. So choose not to treat others as less than as well. So, but yeah, if I was going to say some really simple qualities is, if you're really in doubt, pray, ask God, ask people around you who are good at making friends.
Right.
Like 2, listen to people, see where you could be a point of need or a point of help. And then 3, be yourself, be authentic about it, because you're worth it. Like everybody's worth friendship. Everybody's worth being loved and being seen. And if there's any lie that you believe right now that makes you think that you're not worth being known or being seen or being loved, you need to cancel that lie, because that's not true.
Reject it. Absolutely rebuke that. Yeah.
Be yourself. It's more than enough, and you'll be so surprised.
Jesus died for you, you know, like you're so worth. Yeah, you're so worth that friendship that you want. And that point on prayer, right, is so underrated. Sometimes people don't, like, you know, you don't think to pray. Like, you think about it, you're like, oh, I need friends, I want friends. But you don't even think to pray about it. And one of the great things with prayer, amongst many great things about prayer, is that even on a sort of natural level, because you're praying about something, it starts to wire your brain to think about that thing more. So if I've prayed about friendships and meeting new people and friends, if I then go to a new space, I'm more likely to be paying attention to, you know, maybe who could potentially like be my friend. And I'm more conscious in those conversations just because my mind is now attuned to, this is a desire, this is a need, this is something I want and I'm praying about. It just really helps you to be more aware in that sense as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. And again, everything is an evolvement. Like nothing is perfect. You'll meet some people, maybe you'll get on at first and then it won't work out. Yeah. But, you know, have that grace. Like we all need grace. Grace. We all need grace because no one's perfect. Yeah. And you're not going to have it patterned down. It's not like, oh, like I'm the expert friend maker. Like I make friends with everybody and then we're friends for life. No. That's just not the way it goes. Seasons are really real. And there's a friend for a season and there's a friend for a lifetime. And we have a responsibility to learn how to discern and have wisdom between deciphering the two. Are you here for my life or are you here for the now? And when you realize it's seasonal, is having the grace to let them go in love. And also having the grace to receive the new friends in love as well. And then the ones who are around for a long time, it's understanding that sometimes you're going to be the one who's reaching out a lot. And then in some season, they're going to be the one who's reaching out a lot as well. So, yeah. But it's all worth it, ultimately.
It really is.
And we're all worth it as well.
We are. It's so true.
And extended community that comes with it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like friendship, honestly, it's such a gift. Like I just think of the wealth it adds to your life and just having friends. And the point about being yourself is so... It's a big point, right? Because I think sometimes because you want to get into friendship with maybe certain people, you alter yourself in certain ways. But as you say, it becomes challenging and kind of, it's hard to sustain that. Yeah. Like how many times do we can be weirdos sometimes, like both of us. Like
I have so many random interests, I'll be honest. I am quite a unique.
Yeah, you're a very unique being, you are.
Yeah, but I thank God for it. And I've learned to love myself.
And we thank God for you. And we've learned to love you. But yeah, no, it's so true because in you being yourself, like it's liberating. Yeah. Like you can just be you and the people who are for you will be genuinely drawn to the real you. And in that way, you can actually be yourself with your friends and you don't feel like you're putting it on constantly because it is very tiring. Yeah. And it's unfortunate, but you know, we've heard stories of people maybe in a friendship group, but not really sure where they stand. And they're just a bit like, I don't know if they really like me. And he's like, but they're your friends. Like, what? Yeah. And this is a real thing that people struggle with.
Yeah, there shouldn't be confusion in friendship. Friendship and confusion. Okay, let me reword that in the sense of there may be times where you're confused, like something, and which often maybe come off the back of a miscommunication or a plan that doesn't land or isn't fully executed as you had intended for it to be. Yeah. But that should be the highest extent of it. From that point, that straight away is a reason for communication. It's a reason for a conversation. It's, oh, I thought that was going to happen. Why didn't it? Or that day you were behaving this way and that I felt that was unusual than how you usually behave, or you're being extra quiet in this season. I will always remember I've had this conversation quite often because I'm heavily introverted. Sometimes I can go really quiet, like super quiet. And one of my friends, Christina, shout out Christina, is so good at this in that, because she knows me so well. Every so often, if it's a season and I'm really quiet, I don't know how she does it, but naturally she'll just be like, Val, I feel like you've been really quiet of recent. Are you okay? Is something happening? And it's like straight away then I'm like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And she's just like, yeah, I understand. Again, one of the most empathetic people you'll ever meet, Christina Morgan. Shout out to you. But and then I'm like, but at the same time, I'm like, how does she know me so well that she knows I've gone quiet? But it's not I'm just chilling quiet. It's the stuff's going on, but I'm just kind of doing this.
Yeah.
But we need that. We need those friends who will like open us up to be better communicators and sharers, and ultimately well-rounded people as well, because we all have our things. No one's perfect.
But then that comes out of because they know you. You've opened yourself up to the extent where they know. So imagine if you hadn't been yourself with Christina, so she doesn't actually know the real you. So it's difficult for them to then be able to like step in or have any kind of input or even be able to empathize, because they don't really know. So I think just if it benefits both sides when you can genuinely just be yourself, and then people can know like, when you're not you, it's easy to then tell, you okay? Like, you know. And
it's good to have that beyond your family sometimes.
True.
Because like the same way Christina is to me is the same way my sisters are. Like if I'm a bit off or it's not a great day, my sisters can often tell. But,
absolutely. Like I live on a different continent from my sisters, but they know. They know. Like, and that's such a gift in itself.
But I also know the reality is I won't always have my sisters like with me physically. Yes, they're always going to be there for me, and they are also what I consider my other best friends as well. But it's wrong of me to limit my friendship capacity and space to just them, because I also know that God is working in me to connect with people, and there's other people who need to sow into me and I need to sow into them to further grow and evolve as well. So again, just even a testament to, you know, some people are made for small groups of friends, some people are made for big groups of friends, but it's really important in knowing yourself and what again is edifying to you being the best person you can be in line with the will of God. And build your friendships and community.
That
as well.
That capacity point is huge, because like not everybody has to have like 5, 10, 50, like
no.
It just, capacity is very important. Actually recognizing 100%. Because like we said again, time, resources, all of these things are finite. And as we are adulting, there's so much else that, you know, that has that demands our attention, whether it's work, whether it's other, you know, kind of other pursuits and things like that. So you do really just need to be honest with yourself about what's your capacity for friendship in different seasons and actually just like honor that. But speaking to the qualities of a good friend, continuing that thread, I think sacrifice is also such a good point, a good quality when it comes to obviously those deep and, you know, close friendships that we're talking about, because sometimes you do have to go out of your way for a friend. But I think those are the moments that really start to even more deeply bond you when they can tell that, you know, you didn't have to, like, you didn't have to do that. Like, you really did go out of your way to do that for me. And it becomes something that is deeply appreciated and then bonds you guys further. But even on that point, actually, gratitude, I think it's a great quality to not take people for granted and to not be entitled.
Which again, this is what I was saying before. Like, none of us are entitled to friends, but all of us are worth having friends.
Put that on a t-shirt.
So in light of that, we should be grateful for people if they are going to put themselves out for us in any shape or form, for the sacrifices they make. We should be very forthcoming in saying, thank you, I appreciate you, I love you.
Yes.
And then in the same breath, be willing to put ourselves out there for others. And again, it falls back to, how do you want to be treated? If you're going through a tough time, you want to be able to have at least one person who you know you can call on to help you out.
Right.
So if you know you want that, then be that. And it's not about being exploited by people. It's about genuinely loving people. So it says in Romans 12, like, you know, love each other with genuine affection. Like, if you genuinely love someone, and again, if you're genuine, you're authentic, you're someone who listens, you have a heart to connect with people, then that is what you will attract. As the saying goes, you are what you attract. You know, those are the proverb. If you want a friend, you got to be friendly.
Yes.
You've got to be these things to receive these things. It's not like it's not a poof. I want it, have it now. Which sometimes I think we get into that mode of thought, maybe because of how quickly we can get things we want when we want them. But with people and with love, like love is patient, love is kind. You know, I want to read all of Corinthians 13, but I won't.
You know what somebody actually told, I don't know in what context I heard it, and I need to go back to doing it because it was great. So just reading out that verse, but then putting your name in it and actually testing yourself against those things. So it's like saying, Fola is patient. Am I patient? I think I am most of the time. Fola is kind.
I have my moments. I know for me, patience.
But yeah, literally, Fola is patient. Fola is kind. Fola does not boast. Fola does not envy. And actually reflecting on those situations. And so if there was ever a day where maybe for whatever reason you were feeling a bit envious, and then you're reading it and you're like, Fola does not envy. And then you remind yourself, I do not envy. We don't do that. No, you know,
you win. We win.
We win. It's our win.
Yeah.
How beautiful is that, right? Having friends that support you. That's another side of
the wins and the losses,
on the mountaintops and in the valleys,
all of it.
Who are just there with you, you know, like, I mean, we've laughed together, we've cried together, like, you know, it does something definitely, and just having that support. And I think even us being here today, honestly, is also the fruit of support. I remember, you know, when I first started praying about, you know, running with this, as, you know, God put it on my heart. And one of my friends who I spoke with very early on, who's like a videographer, so he knows quite a bit about these kind of things. And I was just like, very sort of preliminary conversation. I was just like, right, so if I wanted to like record stuff, well, how does that work? And it was just a chat, right? Yeah. I think literally like 2 weeks later or something like that, he's like, right, so I was scrolling through YouTube and whatever. I haven't seen I haven't seen Love and Life. And I was like, oh, okay, calm down. Relax. But yeah, there are friends like that who just champion you and encourage you and want to see you win. And it becomes a collective thing where they do that for you, do that for them as well. And it's so beautiful. And then when your friends win, it's a collective win. It's like, yes, we did it.
Yeah. We're winning. Yeah. Honestly, you got a new job. So we got a new job.
We got child.
You got a new car. We got a new car.
Girl, that's our car. You know that's our car. But it's such a gift, right? Where you just can celebrate your friends with such a purity of heart and such a joy. Yeah. And I do think that is something that, like you said, everyone should experience in life. And I pray that people get to experience, because it's a special kind of love, you know? It really is. And you actually touched on something earlier, which I know a lot of people struggle with, and it's the affirmation point. So I do this thing, and sometimes my sisters laugh at me, like when I'm talking to definitely my family, but then also really close friends. Like when I'm coming off the phone, I'll be like, I love you. Like I will always say to people, and some people find it so weird. Like it's like, okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those people. Yeah. I'd be like, okay, like, I know you love me. You don't have to say it. It's just me. But do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't like cheese. Both, actually, I actually don't even like cheese. But also, I don't like
this that one only likes salad. She doesn't like only broccoli, cauliflower.
No, I don't like cauliflower.
I'm teasing you. Yeah, but you love broccoli though. Yeah, and what's the other one you really like?
I like spinach.
Kale is your best friend. Kale is literally your best friend. You love kale. My goodness. Anyway, sorry.
I don't even know. I lost my train of thought now.
Sorry, affirmation.
Sorry, I love you. So I used to be really bad with this, but of recent, I've gotten a lot better in that life is real, and the loss that I've witnessed, the things that people are able to overcome in some cases, whether it's sickness, even just life is so fragile. Someone can be here one day and then the next day they're gone. And the examples I've seen and witnessed, especially over the last year or so, just have really put into perspective how important it is to let that person know I love you, right, or let that person know how you feel. And saying I love you, really, like, it's no loss off your back. it's you at least knowing that the last word you said to someone before you departed ways with them was an affirmative word, whether it be I love you. If it's not I love you, I appreciate you. Or you know what, I'm grateful. Or do you know what, thank you for that. I really appreciate you showing up for me. It really means a lot.
Yeah.
And there's nothing cheesy when it comes to the reality of it. There's nothing cheesy about showing appreciation for someone in your life. It doesn't have to be the full extent of, I love you, if that's still a bit for you, which I get.
I love you.
We're not all Fola, which is okay, but that's why you're you. But say I appreciate you. Say I'm here for, or just say, I got you. I'm here for you. There's all these terms that you could even use if the saying thrown around love isn't
proud
there
of
for you. I'm proud of you.
That one.
I'm here, I support you. I completely if you like it, I love it. That's something my sister always says. She's like, if you like it, I love it.
I like that.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, I heard that.
I like that one.
Yeah,
Which of your sisters does
Stephanie
that?
says that.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing. I'm a big affirmation girl, so that one is definitely. And again, it just goes to that point of intentionality, right? Understanding what's important to the people you call friend. Because and this is why we have to get the definition right, because we can't go to this extent with everybody.
No,
it's stressful.
We don't have capacity to.
We don't have the capacity.
I'll be honest. I've tried and I failed woefully, and then everybody's been disappointed, including myself.
Wow.
So then, what was the point?
And that's another side to it, because it's true. Then you end up feel like you've let everyone down, and then you almost feel like you've let yourself down, and then it's just a bit downhill from there.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we've got to be honest. Can I do that? No. Can I do that? Yes. Can I show up? No. Or can I show up? Yes. And it's okay. It's okay to say no.
Yeah. Or can I show up like that for 2 people? Yes. Can I show up like that for 5? No. So
yeah.
Right. So I think sometimes, not sometimes, all the time, self-awareness is such a gift. Just taking the time to sit with yourself, think through what your capacity is, and it has to be ongoing. Because you can't just, your capacity in one season is different from your capacity in another season
as well.
So it's almost like having a board meeting with yourself. Buy yourself some Nando's. Sorry, not shouting at Nando's or whatever. Buy yourself some food. Sit down.
Yeah.
Think.
I like Nando's though.
Yeah, we do. Nando's. We like Nando's. But just think through life. Think through your relationships. Do an audit. Do a friendship audit. Do an analysis. Put yourself on the friendometer. That's made that one up too. But think about, what kind of friend am I being? How am I showing up for my friends?
Yeah.
Do I have the capacity? Am I servicing my relationships as I should? As I can? All of that stuff. I think it's so important.
And then also, I think one thing, I don't know, it dropped in my mind, is just when it comes to conflict, for example, is if you regularly regulate yourself when it comes to instances of conflict, you then have a basis to approach it, in the sense of, if you know that you usually behave in one way, but for some reason you're having an off day where you are falling short, or you just don't want to show up for anyone, and that leads to a confrontation or disagreement with a friend, then you know that you can be honest and say, do you know what? In this period, I'm not great. Right. So my response hasn't been the way it should have been. I'm sorry. And then vice versa as well. If you regulate and you haven't changed, but you feel your friend is acting a different way, and it's time for you to maybe confront or call that out, then similarly it's, friend, I love you. We're good. As far as I know, we're good. Have I done something to let you down, or is something going on with you? Because I just feel like your energy shifted. You're not relaying with me the way you usually would. Maybe it's seasons. Maybe you're going through something. It's like what I mentioned before. Christina will kind of be like, you're extra quiet. What's up with you? Yeah. Something happened. You didn't respond in this way. Those kind of when you self-reflect, it actually feeds into so many elements of friendships and helps you navigate it, because conflict is inevitable. No one knows what's in your mind all the time. As much as your friends, even your family know you, there's still going to be instances where there's miscommunication or disagreement, or something lands in a way where that wasn't the intention for it to land in that way, but the tone it was said, the person, the way they received it wasn't positive. So that self-awareness point is so important, because it helps both in the positive instances of friendship, but also in the kind of difficult ones when you have to manage a disagreement
Yeah.
or things aren't going on. And also it helps enable your grace as well of if you're in the wrong, you're like, okay, do you know what? I'm in the wrong. I need grace. If they're in the wrong, well, you know what? Maybe I need to extend grace, but let me at least first understand where they're coming from to why they're possibly in the wrong. And then so on and so forth. Does it mean a demise of friendship? Not always. That's quite an extreme. We don't have to cut everybody off. No. Let's pace ourselves.
Yeah.
But, you know, first, let's evaluate things, you know.
Wow. So. That is a whole different
that's a whole other conversation.
To be honest, because
just
that thing about having a conversation, it's almost like converse before cancel.
Yeah.
Because so many times you just think, oh, they've done this, that's it, it's done.
Yeah.
However, if we would just slow down and actually have a conversation, sometimes you just find out either, you know, maybe there's something that's, you know, that you don't know. And then when you find that thing out, you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that this was happening. Or even you just bring it to their notice and then they're like, oh, actually, I didn't realize. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And that's why that openness is so important. It's weird. It's bringing to my mind this story from the Bible. And I wish I thought about it before I would have maybe looked for where it was. But it was with the Israelites. And there was a section of them who they had built a sort of monument. And the other Israelites found out that they had done that. And they were like, how dare you do this? We're not supposed to be building monuments. Is it Joshua? Yeah. Possibly in Joshua or Judges. I read that fairly recently and they were very upset about it. And they were ready to go and fight them. Like, we're not supposed to be building monuments. This is not okay. How dare you? And it was gonna be a massacre. Like, but then they actually spoke to them for some reason first. Like, they had a conversation and those guys were like, no. Like, we're not building this monument as a way of idol worship. We want it to be clear to our kids that we are for the Lord, that we did. So actually the monument they thought was for idol worship, it was something where those guys were trying to set up sort of boundary markers where it's like, let it be clear that we belong to the Lord and we serve the Lord. So it's like they were both on the same page. But if they didn't have a conversation, somebody would have gone to actually fight somebody without knowing that actually. So the conversation is so important. And I think of so many friendships that have ended, so many just because we couldn't be bothered to talk about it.
Or we weren't brave enough to talk about it because you were scared. I'll be honest, I have moments where I know, looking back, if I had been had a bit more courage and said, you know what, I didn't like how that you did that and how it made me feel, rather than carry it, that maybe the friendship still would be here. Maybe you would have resolved in a different way. But, you know, God is good and he's gracious and all things work out for our good according to his will. Amen. So I rest assured in that, but I also use it as a lesson going forward. You know, let's be brave as well. Yeah. So that's a good quality of a friend. Be brave. Be brave. Be brave to show love. Be brave to show you're upset as well, and be brave to say how you feel. Yeah.
Oh, that is so good. Thank you, Val. Even I'm taking away so much from this conversation.
Me too. Even as the stories, I'm like, this is why I love the Bible. It's just so many references.
The Bible is amazing, isn't it?
Things that you can like stories.
Yeah.
And even though it's completely different time and space, there's just so many common threads and principles. Yeah. So yeah.
Absolutely. So if you were going to give somebody one thing, one nugget, like one takeaway, sort of take away from this conversation, what would it be for you in terms of just friendship or about navigating friendships? What would you say to somebody?
Matthew 22.
That was 22. Quick. She said, I got it.
Matthew 22, verse 36 to 40. The people asked Jesus, what's the most important commandment? Jesus says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with your mind and all your soul. And the second is close and much like it. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Period. If that's the only thing you take away, I can change it in wording. Treat others the way you'd like to be treated. And out of all of that, you'll see just how much things could change in the best way for you and the friends that you have or seek to have. So that's what I would say.
And that's on period. Thank you so much, Val. I'm going to be cheesy because you already called me cheesy and say, I love you.
Oh gosh, I love you too.
Oh, wow. Thank you. You said it back. But yeah, no, so thankful to have you here. And there you have it, guys. Until we see you on the next episode, Love and Life. Thank you for watching. We hope to see you next time. Do remember to like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. See you.